We're just going to take a quick break, so we'll be back shortly after the ad. We have a $75 donation from Shushiro. Another Super Metroid run with 2 players and 1 controller? Shut up and take my money. $15 from Halsey, donating for Keller Ruster. What a cute game. Now I want to play it. I'm afraid it's not as easy as the runner makes it look. $100 from Anonymous. I just found out my teammate passed away this weekend after a brave fight against cancer. This one's for you, Mark. We have an anonymous $500 donation. Let's get that Spelunky hell run. I remember that game is coming up next, and we're still trying to make the incentive for it. $30 from Dog Eater. This week of the year, Cancer We Don't Fear, we are going to have a blast. My second time watching, thanks to all the runners and staff, and as my name implies, kill the animals. $60 from Amelin40. Hashtag AGDQ boop, fulfilling my promise from the Hat in Time run. Here's $60 for the 2 cutscene skips Shockwave got. This is an awesome run, so I'm glad I could couch for it. The money goes towards helping finish Portal 2 co-op. $15 from Get Ninja N. Hello from Gothenburg, Sweden. I love what you do, and I'm trying to watch as much as possible every year. $50 from Anonymous. Long-time watcher, first-time donator. Been a great event so far. I just spotted the Crypt of the Necrodancer incentive and had to donate. Also looking forward to the Majora's Mask co-op. $10.16 from Majora's Guitar. Hey GQ, you guys are doing an awesome job so far. This is my second donation with this towards 2-player, 1 controller challenge. It would be such a shame if we couldn't make that happen. I agree. $55 from Anonymous. Yama must die. To hell with the Spelunky runners. As you guys can see on screen, up next we have Snapshot by Nightmare47. Continuing on the indie block. A reminder, this stream is powered by Twitch. $100 from Eric29, and as always, donating now, even though I won't be able to watch runs till later. Seeing a bunch of my favorite games either broken or played in ways I could always never imagine is entertaining and cool thanks to a good cause. Good luck with the show and save the animals, the Yoshis, the Cannon, the Excalibur, the Majora's Mask, Team's Visions, and the Mirror's Edge camera. $10 from Varuna. Thank you, Drac, for running Kero Blaster, one of my favorites. You inspire me to return to SRing the game yet again. $75 from Kason. Spunky Hell Run, please. $20 from Lazy Person. I got so excited after finding out that Pixel has released another game that I just gotta donate. Thanks for introducing me to my new obsession. Keep up the good work. Still only $500 away from the Spelunky Hell Run. I'm pretty sure we could make it. $20 from Mantooth. My dad is currently going through a battle with cancer. Thanks to everyone's efforts, and let's make a difference. Exitom hype.
Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Hey, Kyle, are you here with us?
I'm trying to be. What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, awesome.
So before we get into the run, we have Kyle Pulver on Skype, who is the designer of this game. Kyle, if you could just speak quickly about what your role in this game was, and also kind of just a brief description of how big your team was in making this game.
Sure. So basically, I did the environment art and the level design and some of the scripting and some of the game designy stuff. The core team of the game was myself, Peter Jones, and David Carrig. We sort of all shared the overall game design, I'd say. And then we had a bunch of people like help us out. Shout outs to, I know Jordan Fair is watching. He did the sound effects, so shout outs to him.
Cool. All right. I mean, Nightmare, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, just let me get in the first level.
And Kyle, really, thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's pretty early for you, so really, thank you. It really means a lot to us.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure to be here. Thanks.
All right, well, I'm ready. Just counting down. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
So welcome to Snapshot. This is one of my favorite 2D puzzle platformers on Steam. It's really a pretty impressive game. It's able to combine the keyboard and mouse to really create some interesting gameplay. I mean, with the keyboard, you're just able to, move, duck, jump. But in addition to that, you have the mouse, which allows you to pick up objects with the left click and then place them like that with the right click. Now, these objects can be used for various purposes, from activating switches to just getting stuff out of your way, but they can also be used for platforming, and we're about to see that here. So right there, Nightmare not only uses that as a platform to jump up, but also as an object falls, it actually gains momentum, just as you would expect gravity to work. And each time you release it and re-grab it in midair, it just keeps gaining that momentum. So there can be really just a lot of interesting tricks that's used for, and you'll be seeing that throughout the speedrun. It's really, really fun stuff. So here we go into 1-2 here, and I mean, as it continues, you're just going to see that kind of mechanic used over and over, and especially later on, when the stages get particularly complicated, you'll be seeing a lot of nifty tricks come into play with that. And just like that, so every one of those grabs, the box continues to kind of gain the box continues to gain falling speed. It's really, really cool stuff. Now, one of my favorite things about this game is that it's able to keep it fresh by just about every zone introducing a new mechanic. Such as in this zone, we have these kind of red cagey areas you see there. They're called no photo zones. He can't grab any block that's in front of one of those no photo zones, so he had to push that one out so he could grab it properly. So Kyle, I mean, this is a really, really interesting idea for a game, I think. I've certainly never seen it before, so I'm just kind of interested on your side of really how this idea came about and evolved.
Yeah, so this started out as a pretty much like a college university project. It was the initial collaboration was between me and my friend Pete, and we had to just make like a senior thesis project. And one of the ideas that he brought up was like he had like a dream about being chased by monsters and being able to take photographs of them to like make them go away. So I had been getting into like game development at the time, so we just went with that idea. The initial prototype was super rough, really crude pixel art. Whoa, nice one. That was awesome. And then eventually that got, it was nominated for an IGF award like a billion years ago, I think. And we took that as like our opportunity to turn it into a full game after adding Dave Carrig to the team.
Very cool. Yeah, I love the idea that the idea for a game can actually come from a dream and just spawn from there.
I guess it's literally our dream game.
Yeah. So in that level just there, you can see that you not only pick up and place objects, you can also rotate them. And actually that's how you're able to use that falling momentum in order to propel yourself. You kind of let a box drop a little bit, or an object, and then you rotate it midair to actually push you. In this level, we actually introduced trampolines as well, and trampolines are very, very interesting, just because they can move you at such high speeds if you rotate them, and they're really the optimal way to move. So you can see here, Nightmare catches it twice, and then once more places it diagonally right here to propel himself across. And I mean, you're supposed to be done with the trampoline by now, but of course this is a speed run, so he grabs it once again to just gain that extra little bit of speed at the very end. Now, Nightmare just grabbed a object off of kind of the corner of the screen. It's really just a side bonus object you'd want for 100%, but those can be used for objects just like the actual kind of intentional ways of doing things like blocks and whatever else. So he can actually use these kind of 100% objectives in order to complete the game more quickly as well. So we're headed into World 2 right now. The first new mechanic you're going to see here is snowballs, as it's kind of an ice-themed level. And the way snowballs work is that you can push them around like that, and then they'll keep their momentum, and once you replace them, they'll continue moving, and use that to activate a switch. In some levels, you can also push them up and down snow so that they slowly grow, but that may or may not be necessary. We'll see. So Kyle, I mean, we've already seen kind of in a couple of these levels so far, most of the levels, you're really introducing something new. So I was wondering if it was sort of a challenge to just always be coming up with fresh ideas, or how exactly that worked for you on the development side.
I would say that's pretty much always the challenge of any games. Like, you want to have the game have good pacing so that the players always stay interested in it. And coming up with enough good ideas to put in a game to also make the game, long enough to be satisfying, is pretty tough. You're always fighting against the urge to just put in a bunch of filler all the time, and I think the best games are the ones that try to have no filler at all. That's so tough.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, not to overly praise you, but this game does a great job of that.
Oh, thanks.
So you actually saw in that most recent level. Let's give him some time to 3 jumps. So close. That one's very tight because you have to use that very, very thin object. I mean, you've seen him use thicker kind of blocks, but he uses this little bonus object that's very, very tiny and always has to. All right, so we got that. So let's give him a round of applause for that. It's just such a tiny object, and keep in mind that when you pick something up and put it back down, your area of capture is so wide that if you pick an object up in the lower left of that capture area, you'll also place it back down in the lower left and not the center. So that's one more thing you have to keep in mind as you go through this game and as you kind of use these objects as very, very precise platforms. So what I was going to say, I mean, it's a little bit past at this point, but this game does actually have kind of hit points, and it usually doesn't come into play too much in a speedrun, and it's not too much of an issue really even in a casual playthrough. I mean, staying alive isn't the challenge of this game, it's solving the difficult puzzles. But what Nightmare did is a damage abuse a couple levels ago, and he was able to use that damage abuse to make it through the spikes, but moving on. In that level, he was able to kind of drop a block and then not use it to propel himself horizontally, but propel himself vertically. And we'll be seeing that more with time. So again, I mean, these levels, you can kind of see as Nightmare goes through these levels that there's so much of the level you're just not seeing. because this game allows you to use any object at your disposal for whatever you need you might require in order to beat it as quickly as possible. So Kyle, I mean, one thing I always like to ask developers is that speedrunning is a fairly new concept, at least in the world of gaming. I mean, it's really taken off in these last kind of 5 years or so. And this Snapshot is a, let's see, sorry. When did you develop this game?
It came out in 2012.
2012, okay. So that was really just as kind of speedrunning was starting to become popular. Was that on your mind at all as you were developing it?
Yeah, I think the first HDQ I watched was 2012, and early before that, I started watching more and more speedruns. And as a game developer, when you play your own game over and over again, you kind of become a speedrunner of that game. So, I don't know, for me, I like to add another element of fun for myself. So if I'm playing my own game as fast as possible, I want to try to add elements that make that more fun. And, we added the timer for all the levels, and there's par times, which, obviously are being destroyed right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think speedrunning is always an awesome thing to consider when making any game.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, I mean, this game has a few different metals, from collecting all the stars to collecting the various objects that Nightmare is using as platforms, to just beating the level quickly. And as you said, I mean, he's really kind of making a mockery of the par times. So you don't see this mechanic too often in speedruns. It's this doorway mechanic where you can pick up the doorways. Kind of the doorways are linked to one another, and you can teleport between the two. But you often in a speedrun, and you can pick up and place the door to put it in a more optimal position for the speedrun. But you're able to use objects to progress through the level so quickly that oftentimes kind of that cutscene of going in and out of the door is just kind of like obsoleted at this point. So here we are in World 3 now. As Nightmare moves into the next level, you're going to see a new mechanic, which is keys and locked boxes. So you can see here that Nightmare simply pushes the key into that box and opens it up. But in some levels, the keys simply serve as yet another object for Nightmare to use as a platform. And in that case, he didn't even need a key. He just bypassed it entirely.
Dang, frame perfect red box.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're going to just continue to see new mechanics as we move on. So getting back to the topic of speedrunning, I mean, has this changed at all for your more recent projects? Are you trying to kind of think of ways to allow the player to move more quickly?
It depends on the project, but if I'm making any project that's like action-oriented at all, I think speedrunning is one of the most important elements of it. If a game is a good speedrun, it's a good game. So, and I was watching the Magical Quest runs earlier, and I didn't even know about like that downward slope.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I just want to make a game just so I can do that mechanic, because that looks like so much fun.
Well, let me stop you right there. It's interesting you say that, because you can actually use slopes in this game to speed yourself
really?
up.
Who made this game?
If you kind of nudge up against a slope just properly, if it's kind of at the right angle, you can speed yourself up just a little bit. And then actually, like Magical Quest, you're able to kind of continue jumping to preserve that momentum. So it's interesting you use that game as a comparison, because I think
that's the physics engine's fault. We didn't do that on purpose.
So this level is the first to introduce these kind of flying bunnies that go left and right. And you can obviously just use them as platforms. Oh! I want to see this backup strat. I've never seen this before. Doorway, we're good. There's the bonus object. Down it goes. Goal completed. I was expecting him to fall into the pit, but he knew about, nice job, Nightmare. He knew about this, little area down there, so he used that to his advantage. So yeah, these bunnies, you're supposed to just stand on them and wait, but you can obviously just use them as kind of floating platforms to get yourself from place to place. And not only that, but if the bunny is moving in the same direction as you, you're able to kind of use that extra little forward momentum to your advantage. So you can walk alongside the bunny to get that little extra bit of momentum, and then capture him just as you reach the edge of his hitbox. So this is an any % run. And what that means is that Nightmare does not need to beat every single level. And of course, he does not need to collect every single star and every single object. So he's familiar with all the levels because he does run any % all levels. But he knows exactly how much time each of the levels takes. And so in an any % run, he knows which he's able to skip and which is optimal for that purpose. This is the Vanishing Clouds mechanic, which where after a brief period of time, the clouds just kind of dissipate and are no longer usable again as a platform. But I think as long as you capture them, then...
yeah, if you're speedrunning, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. There can be, so there was a very, very precise timing window there where he was able to pick up that cloud. From the start of the level, the cloud was falling from way up on the sky, and it's supposed to fall into a no-photo zone where you have to kind of complete a set of objectives so that you can capture it again. But there's a very, very precise time window. You saw how quickly it was falling, where he was able to capture it before it fell into the no-photo zone.
Yeah, you cheated.
Basically, yeah, it's huge. Yet another new mechanic in this level, the winds, which basically there's kind of a source of winds. You can see it very, very briefly there. And you're able to capture the winds and then rotate them to give yourself a boost. And that actually is the intended way to beat the level. You copy a set of these winds and then paste them on top of one another to just kind of stack on top of each other and give yourself that extra tons of speed to be able to beat the level more quickly. And again, here's more wind there and an opportunity to open a key door there.
Man, I haven't seen this game in so long. Like, I totally forgot we did the whole wind thing in this game. That was so cool.
So, Kyle, I mean, you've seen a few smaller glitches here and there, certainly several skips. You're about to see shortly in this world one of the larger glitches in this game.
Oh, no,
It's pretty interesting. It's a few levels in, so not quite just yet. But I'm curious to know your opinion on kind of how glitches, when you see glitches in your game that you help to develop, how exactly do you see them? Do you think like, oh, that's so cool, or do you think like, how could I have missed that? Oh, just watch. I mean, Nightmare does catch that 4 times in a row to prepare himself for that level. But yeah, anyway, Kyle, how do you feel about glitches?
I feel very ashamed. No, I think glitches are, if a glitch is fun and doesn't get in the way of like an average player, then I'm all for it. When I first got into speedruns, I started watching the ones like, like Wind Waker has like zombie hovering.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. So anything that kind of reveals another layer of the game is cool to me.
Yeah, that's so cool that you mentioned even something as specific as zombie hovering in Wind Waker. So I mean, are you pretty familiar with the speedrunning scene? Do you follow it?
I tune in and out. It depends on. Sometimes I get way too into it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to be making video games. But yeah, I do follow some speedrunners on Twitch. I'm always tuned into every GDQ event. So.
This is one of the more precise skips.
God.
It's a very long level, but unfortunately Nightmare wasn't able to nail it. But that's a good example of kind of I think it's related to the slope stuff we were talking about earlier, where if you kind of hit the corner of that specific wall as precisely as possible, you're able to kind of get just a very, very significant boost of speed, which is able to skip all those magnets. But unfortunately, we didn't see her today.
I actually hit the corner, but I didn't hold jump all the way
Oh,
through.
okay. So you got the hard part, missed the easy
Yeah, I got the
part.
hard part.
Gotcha. So we've seen a lot of new mechanics already in this world. We've seen blue magnets, which pull you towards it. We're about to see red magnets in a little bit, which
magnets
kind of
for a
propel you away from them. We've seen copy-paste zones, which allow you to clone certain objects, or really any objects, later on, including yourself, which we'll see
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Here's another little trick as well. It takes some time to get sometimes, but you're supposed to find a box in this screen, and but instead, if you are able to time it just right. Yeah, we're not trolling you guys.
Okay.
There you go. He did get it. So quick round of applause for that.
I was about 5 seconds from handing my keyboard to mid-boss, to be completely honest.
I think that was used in one other spot as well. But yeah, you can actually kind of nudge yourself into the narrow corridor just right so that you're able to get that. But it's rather precise simply because you're not supposed to do it that way. So, yeah. So let's see what we've got coming up next here. Okay, so I think this is the grand skip, so prepare yourself.
Uh-oh.
So we have to set it up in this first stage, and then we'll see what happens in this next stage. I mean, it's a pretty long stage, so it might take some time to go through, but... Oh!
Whoa! Hey. Oh,
Let's give him a round of applause for that one. I love seeing that glitch every time. So the way that one worked is at the end of the level, we actually had Dave, a fellow developer, a fellow colleague of Kyle's that he mentioned before, stop into Nightmare's stream and explain it before. But I believe the way it works is that there's a very, I think, small ledge that Nightmare is able to kind of position himself by. So if he places the magnets just right in the previous one, he's able to kind of grab onto a ledge that you don't really see, and for some reason that tricks the game into just propelling yourself.
It's kind of that I end the level in a position and set the camera in a way that my position from this, like, when it drags me to the center is on top of the ledge in the next level. And for like one frame, for whatever reason, it doesn't reset my position. So it quickly grabs the ledge and then resets my position, but it says I'm on the ledge.
Gotcha.
So it just flings me all the way across the stage.
So unfortunately, I just wanted to mention one thing. As we reach the end of the game here, time is going to be coming up. But I'm just going to articulate this very quickly. Nightmare created a clone of himself, killed it, and used its head as an object to propel himself forward.
Oh my God,
I
that's
love that.
brutal.
That's one of my favorites. So this is, go ahead
All
and
right, ready and time.
cut the phone.
So we have, looks like 1954.
5-4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well done, Nightmare. Solid run. That was so much fun to watch. I love watching that game every time, so solid run, Nightmare.
Awesome.
Kyle, thank you once again so much for joining us. It was so awesome having you here. Just a quick thing. What have you been working on recently?
Like any indie developer, I'm working on like 4 games at the same time. The one that's probably going to come out the soonest is a co-op sort of arcade shmup survival game where both players are tethered together. And aside from that, as a developer, I created and maintain a 2D game-making framework written in C#. For any devs out there listening, it's called Otter, otter2d.com. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Thank you very much. And I meant to mention before, but Offspring Fling is another game that you guys might have heard that Kyle helped to develop alongside many other kind of shorter Ludum Dare games. But Offspring Fling and Snapshot are both awesome games that you guys should definitely check out. So, yep, again, thank you, Kyle, so much for joining. And I think that's
Thank you
about
for
it.
having me.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thanks for playing.
At the end, they give you your total percentage, which is
What's the
like
prediction?
36. It's like always 36 on an any percent.
You were supposed to be an amazing predictor.
I'm sorry, I tried to call it earlier, but
Yeah. See you next time.
All right, well, we're going to be heading to an ad real quick, and once we come back, we'll be starting to set up for the Spelunky run. So see you guys shortly.
was really funny because like someone's getting explained like
All right, well, we have some donations to read. We have $20 from Mr. Black. Give this $20 to the Tunnel Man so we can dig up the Hell Run. Just wanted to give a shout out for Lucky being a great commentator. $50 from Anonymous. $10 from Topside Twitch. Let's get some Spelunky hype. $100 from Anonymous. Loving your work so far at AGDQ. This goes towards the Spelunky Hell Run, which I believe we met. So we're going to get to see that. $75 from 3Fant.